ABC's Terry Moran joins us live. He's going to be talking to some folks there about some big news they have coming up just 1 week away. You may have heard this term Brexit over and over again. Terry's going to bring us up to speed with what's been happening on the latest of that issue and what people there are saying. Terry, tell us where you are and what's going on there.
Hey guys, well this is London. We're in Regent's Park, really one of the loveliest parks in London. The American Ambassador's residence is just up the road here. And this, where we are, is a food festival, the London Taste of London. We're here because this is kind of a crossroads, not only of Londoners and British people, but of the cuisines of Europe. And that is what this Brexit thing is all about. The big question coming up next Thursday, the vote: should Britain stay or go? Should they stay in the European Union, the EU, or should they go it alone, as they did for many centuries? But first, let's talk a little about food. You might be surprised at how great it is in London. British food was kind of a joke for so many years. It is now really one of the hot spots of food scenes in the world, and we're going to talk about it here with one of the stars. This is Dan Doherty of the Duck and Waffle, that's his restaurant over there, and Claudia Newman, who's with Taste of London. Dan, let me ask you, so I lived over in the British Isles some decades ago. London was not the greatest place to get a bite to eat. It is now. What happened? What changed?
Well, I think lots has changed, and I think the main thing is we now have this middle band. So before we had really, really high-end restaurants, and we had lots of poor restaurants, and now we've got this wonderful middle band where it's much more accessible and approachable price-wise, but also style-wise. The ones at the bottom, the cheap eats, are actually cooking phenomenal food, but for a lot less money. And then the ones at the top have actually taken a step back, and they're not doing the starched white linen and the real informality. It's actually being stripped back, and you've got kind of the whole decor is changing, but the style of service is changing too.
Well, your restaurant, the Duck and Waffle, that's an interesting name for a restaurant. Where do you get that?
It is. Well, it's named after one of our kind of signature dishes or iconic dishes. So it's we serve duck and waffle. So based on the American chicken and waffles, we do a confit duck leg, a buttermilk Belgian waffle, a fried duck egg, and mustard maple syrup on top. So it's kind of, we're open 24 hours a day. So it's a dish that I think truly reflects the 24-hour idea, and it literally can be served and eaten and cooked 24 hours a day.
Cool. So one more question. We're going to walk around, talk to people about politics, but let's talk food for a moment and the European influence on British food. Do you think one of the reasons that you can eat better here these days is because of the food scene being European and not just British?
I think it's an interesting point. If you go to Paris or Rome or any of the big European cities, they tend to be 90% food of that area. So in Rome, it's all Italian restaurants with maybe 10% of other different things. Whereas I think in Britain, especially, we kind of made a mistake probably 40 years ago by kind of selling ourselves out a bit and not sticking to our true identity. But the byproduct of that is that we ended up with lots of different cultures influencing our food. So, Indian food is the most eaten food in the UK. You've got so much diversity and so many different restaurants to go to, so many different options, while to keep our own kind of our own claws in our own food, and to keep that as a prevalent thing. So
it's become a very exciting food scene. The Duck and Waffle, I've heard about it, now I got to go.
You have to go.
I do. We're going to walk around, but thank you very much, Claudia. Thanks very much. So as you can hear, things have gotten better in terms of food. The question now is, what will Britain do on the menu of choices that it has next Thursday? There's actually only two choices: stay or go. Do they stay in the European Union or do they go?